We're about to find out. All right. First, go ahead, Todd. Yep. Yeah. Well, you and Todd tied again. And I am in the cellar. I moved back a game. Yeah. So I'm gonna have to get creative with my choices moving forward. First game of the week, we had the Buccaneers versus the. No audio. Well, that would. We just had it earlier. I see my audio. I'm trying to figure out why your audio is not coming through now. It was coming through earlier. Hold on. Yep, that's wrong. Hold on.
Yeah, just you, Bobby. That's all that's coming.
Got it. You guys are here now.
We're good.
We just missed all that. I'm so sorry. It's been a long day.
Moral of the story: Corey went to the football game. He shotgunned beers. He had fun. The Bengals won. Columbus is stupid. Didn't show the Bengals game. Now we're talking picks. Let's roll.
All right. That's Todd just covered the first 5 minutes.
Yeah, that was a very quick recap of what was discussed.
Thank you.
Chad, I apologize.
I'm a connoisseur of the synopsis.
Well, one of these days I'm going to put it all together. You know, we're gonna go live right the first time. We're going to go live on both platforms. I'm going to have your audio in here. Oh, I feel like a failure.
That's new. We're still figuring it out, fellas. We're doing it. We're good.
I feel like a failure.
In that case.
There it is.
Is that a Kirkland seltzer?
It is a Kirkland seltzer.
Attaboy.
Costco, baby. Hell yeah. But yeah, just to recap, I believe you guys heard me. Todd and Corey are tied at 62 and 31, and I am in the cellar at 60 and 33.
Ooh, a 2-game cushion.
Again, that's pretty fucking
close. It's pretty close.
I mean, there's not one clear person that's just been botching it the whole time we've been doing this.
Yeah,
like, we're all pretty consistent.
Yeah, I think last week I was a little too conservative. I was too worried about making mistakes that I didn't take chances. We're gonna change that this week. So
let's go over these games. I'm gonna lean on you guys heavily. Obviously, I was pretty tied up for most of the day, so I didn't get to watch any of the other games really. But
got you. Buccaneers, Eagles. Turned out to be a much closer game than I anticipated, 28-22.
That was a Thursday night game.
Yeah, that was the one we watched. Turned out to be pretty decent. Bucks pulled it out, though. Next game on the board was an absolutely fantastic game to watch for those of you that had an opportunity to watch it. The Dolphins and the Jaguars, the Saturday or Sunday morning game, which nobody thought was going to be a good game to watch, and it turned out to be an absolute gem. Obviously, a field goal won the game, but Trevor Lawrence got his first dub in the NFL.
Yeah,
he did, and also Tua played. Look, Jacksonville's defense
Tua looked fantastic.
Elite. He played great. He took his time. Something I think that Tua has always been at fault for as a college and NFL quarterback is scrambling first and then throwing across his body, trying to create the incredible play every single time he throws the ball. That's kind of been his MO. He was patient. He let Gesicki and Jalen Waddle get open. Jalen Waddle
had a ball game.
Welcome to the NFL. He had a great week.
Yeah.
He looked like an NFL receiver, and I think that his substantial injury that he had last year prevented him from being the Heisman winner, and actually, where he got drafted, higher than Devonta Smith. Now there's proof that was deserved. He is an NFL wide receiver. I felt like this was kind of his introduction. And if Tua can continue to produce and be patient and let plays develop and not try to create the play himself, that's a really good combination.
Yeah,
especially to being Tua's back on his right side. That's a good spot for Waddle to be in, because that's where Tua, from watching the game, he was great sitting in the pocket and then opening his shoulders up and throwing kind of that 8 to 12 yard route, kind of center to chest out. So He looks good. Both of them looks good. Trevor Lawrence looks good. Marvin Jones Jr. player of the game, in my opinion. Former Cincinnati Bengal and Detroit Lion.
He caught everything.
Yeah, for those line to game fans.
Well, and you'll remember going into the season, I evaluated all the wide receivers. I had Jamar Chase as my number one. I had Jalen Waddle as like my 1B, basically, like my number 2 wide receiver, just because watching the tape on him, he's just disgusting, absolutely gross how he gets open so consistently. And when he hits that second level, you're not catching him. He's just that fast. So I'm not taking anything away from Devonta Smith, but if Jalen Waddle played last season, Devonta Smith is not the Heisman.
Yeah, absolutely.
Devonta Smith might not even be a number 1, a first-round draft pick.
Devonta Smith in his own right was great at Alabama, but a completely different player. But I look at Jalen Waddle to kind of to compare sports. I look at Jalen Waddle the same way I look at like a Justin Verlander fastball, right? It's 100 miles an hour, but in those last 2 seconds, that ball it sneaks up on you and you have no idea what you're looking at. Jalen Waddle is the same way when he gets that basically 16 to 20 inches of separation from somebody in the secondary. You give him an inch, he takes a mile. That was very clear against Jacksonville's weak secondary.
So me and Todd got that one?
No, we all 3 got that one.
Oh, we all took
Remember, he seceded to Jacksonville because you and I were so convincing that it was bound to happen. I believe your words were a better
that was one where playing it safe actually worked out for me.
Yeah.
Next game on the board, Vikings and Panthers, another absolutely fantastic game. Dalvin Cook and Adam Thielen just played absolutely out of their minds. Adam Thielen, he had 10-plus catches, a couple touchdowns, 100 yards, just absolutely destroyed. Dalvin Cook looked like Dalvin Cook for the first time in a couple weeks, which was great for my fantasy team. But Panthers didn't look bad either. They just could not catch a ball. That was my biggest takeaway. If the Panthers receivers, I don't remember how many balls they dropped, but I know it was almost in the double digits.
I believe it was 9. It was either 8 or 9, and Robbie Anderson was like 5 of them.
Yeah, it was absolutely atrocious. Sam Darnold had no help.
Yeah, so Robbie Anderson, I believe, dropped 3 passes in the first half, and 2 of them were either going to be very break it open plays or a touchdown. So you don't put all of it on his shoulder. They didn't play great. They didn't play great when the rubber met the road in overtime, but Darnold's stats don't justify, I think, how he played overall from watching the recap of the game. He threw some good balls, but Kirk Cousins got 7 people involved over the field on Sunday. KJ Osborne had a great game. Adam Thielen, Bobby just covered it, played out of his mind. Best he's played all year. And Justin Jefferson had a good game. We haven't talked about Justin Jefferson really at all this year. And he was, in my opinion, the best rookie wide receiver last year. I think anybody could say that. And this was his he had a good week. But I don't know how you feel about it, Corey, but I feel like we haven't talked about him really at all, or football hasn't really talked about him that much this year.
No, and it's not. There's reason. He's not putting up the same kind of numbers they put up last year. But that said, the bar was set pretty high. But just real quick, before we move on to the next one, Minnesota off with a slow start this season. For the last 2 weeks, I think they have 2 wins in a row now coming in for the Vikings, and they're back to 500. And if the season ended today, they get that 7th spot, that final spot in the playoffs. So Minnesota has crept back in to the playoff talk. Looking ahead at their schedule, though, it doesn't get very easy for the Vikings. They have Cowboys at home after the bye. They're on a bye this week. Then they have Cowboys at home. They're on the road against Baltimore. Then they go on the road and play the Chargers.
Oof.
Then they have the Packers at home. They go on the road to the 49ers. And then they finally get some relief coming here to Detroit and taking on the Lions. But that game isn't until December 5th. An absolute gauntlet over the next month and a half for the Vikings.
You gotta hope you can go 2-4 in that stretch and then kind of just coast it at the end.
You really do. You really do.
Oh my gosh, especially to have to travel for some of those games, and you're playing offensive powerhouses 5 weeks in a row.
Right.
I mean, guys, teams that can very easily drop a 40 bomb on you, and you don't even think twice about it.
Yeah, they definitely have a tough sled coming up. We all three took the Panthers. We were all three wrong. So, Josh, thanks for liking the video. Appreciate it, brother. Next game on the board was the first game we were split. Chargers-Ravens. The Ravens absolutely smoked the Chargers. I mean, it was not even close. Todd went astray on that one and picked the Ravens, and was obviously correct. Todd, can you give us a little insight into your pick and why the Ravens played so well?
Well, my insight was that I think Lamar Jackson is the MVP, and I just trust my gut on the MVP.
He didn't look great, though.
He did. That's kind of I was getting there.
Okay.
It was not a. I don't think that it was on either side of the ball. It was not a offensive celebration for either team. It was Baltimore's defense just absolutely shut the door on the running game, which forced Justin Herbert to have to throw the ball a lot, and he had nobody open. The Ravens won the game because the Chargers defense was on the field the whole game. I mean, if every time when I was watching Red Zone and it would flip to Baltimore had just gotten the ball and scored in, I don't know, 8-9 minutes or something like that. They just had the ball for so long, and then Herbert would get back out on the field. It'd be first down. They tried to get the ball to Eckler. Nothing. Shut the door. Actually, Justin Herbert was a leading rusher for the Chargers, if that tells you guys anything, with 12 yards.
Mark James, thanks for coming in and liking the video. Corey, what do you I know you really didn't get to watch the game, but yeah, Todd hit the nail on the head. The Ravens defense just absolutely, shut down that powerhouse of an offense. It was unbelievable to watch.
Well, I saw that there were 3 different running backs that scored touchdowns.
Everybody was eating. It was
Devonta
crazy.
Freeman, LaMarcus Murray,
and
Le'Veon Bell, who is now on the 53-man roster as of today, which was weird that he wasn't already on that since he played on Sunday. I don't understand how that works. Maybe he bumped down to the practice squad again on Tuesday or something, or on Monday or something.
I didn't know if you had more insight on it. I saw that, and then I just was reading some articles, and I saw that now he is back on the roster, but he played on Sunday. That doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I don't understand that.
Who knows?
But
did somebody else get hurt, and that's how they were? Did somebody go on IR like that? I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure how that works or why that was. I didn't really look into it too much, just because, like we said, he was on the roster a week, 3 days ago. So
yeah,
I don't know.
All week last week too. I looked into it. I'm like, well, I don't understand. Okay, whatever. Let's move on. That doesn't make sense.
That's gonna be. It poses up for a big matchup next week. Bengals going into Baltimore, and maybe we can talk about that here a little bit later. But yeah, it's gonna be a big game.
Yeah, absolutely. Next game on the board, we had the Rams-Giants. Rams absolutely dominated. Matt Stafford threw 4 touchdowns. Cooper Kupp caught 2 of them. Dude has just absolutely been electric this year. Cooper Kupp healthy, I will still say it. He has the potential to be statistically the best receiver in the league this year.
He is right now. As of right now, he is the leading receiving
unbelievable
athlete in the NFL.
He flies under the radar on that.
I think Devontae Adams. I think Devontae Adams has him in yards, but Cooper Kupp I think is the leading scorer.
Yeah, scorer. Thank you. Yeah. You're right. Devontae Adams has him by less than 50 yards.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he's just he quietly goes out there and gets it done, and it's just unbelievable.
Knock on wood, he's healthy still. He's had a lot of injury history, concussions in particular.
Have we seen him healthy for a full season?
I don't think
Not yet. This is the first year he's played 6 consecutive weeks.
Wow. God, if he
Isn't that crazy? They said that on Red Zone. This is the first year that Cooper Kupp has played 6 straight weeks since he's been in the NFL.
That's
he's
amazing.
either had not consistent playing time or injuries. So good for him, man. Look, he's actually Devontae Adams has him by 15 yards. So basically at catch for Cooper
One catch,
Kupp.
yeah. Crazy. Yeah, we all three took the Rams. That was a landslide. Pretty easy pick, I believe. The next one was also an easy pick for us, Colts Texans. Jonathan Taylor continues to impress. 145 yards on the ground. He averaged 10.4 yards a carry with 2 trips to the promised land on Sunday.
Jonathan, Bruce, thanks for liking the video. Appreciate you, man.
Yeah, Bruce, thanks for the likes and the shares, big dog. I appreciate it. We appreciate it. Yeah, Jonathan Taylor. Wow, what a year that guy's having.
Yeah. It was just a matter of time.
It really
honestly
was.
I mean, last year coming out of that draft class, when he was drafted last year, he was by and large to me the best running back out of that class, over Deandre Swift, and he's finally getting consistent touches. Because last year they kind of ran the triage between him, Hines, and Marlon Mack, and then Jonathan Taylor dealt with a couple of injuries. He had some off the field locker room issues last year as well that really hindered his performance. And I think the right person got in his ear and told him to shut the hell up and play football like you're supposed to. And we are seeing why he was so dominant in Wisconsin. There was only one school that ever stopped him all 3 years he was at Wisconsin. It was Ohio State. Every other Big Ten team he rolled over. He made them a bowl eligible team all 3 years he was there.
I would say, looking forward for the Colts, and the only reason I'm doing this is because if you guys remember after, was it the Sunday night game, Monday night game, something like that, where the Colts lost, the Colts owner came out and said, Colts Nation, we are with you. We are going to get this together. We are going to, there are going to be championships. We're going to win multiple Super Bowls, basically, is what the owner of the Colts said, which is good for you for having, absolute fucking gargantuan nuts and being able to say that. But I mean, that's got to feel good as a Colts fan. Shout out Josh Wheeler, but have your team come out the very next week and win 31-3. Coming up next, they got the 49ers, Titans, Jets, Jags. They could easily go 500, if not 3-1 in that. Follow that up with a matchup like it's pretty tough. They got Bills, Bucks, and then Texans, Patriots, Cardinals. It's not going to get any easier, so we're going to start really seeing if the rubber's going to meet the road here for the Colts as the season winds down. This is Todd's pick to win the AFC South. I'm interested what you have to say about that now after that game last night when we get to this Monday night game, but we'll get to that.
Sure. We can talk about it.
Bruce also said, wasn't he on Home Improvement, Jonathan Taylor?
It's true. Jonathan Taylor Thomas.
Before we move on, what do you guys think about Carson Wentz? Do you think he's finally found his groove?
He's my fantasy quarterback now.
Ooh.
Yeah. All right.
Big decision.
Yeah, well, I had Russ, so.
All right, fair enough. Fair enough. Carson Wentz on the up and up. You heard it here first.
He is certainly finding he's getting into his element in Indianapolis, and his offensive line is pretty good.
Yeah.
He has one of the better centers in the NFL and one of the better interior linemen in the NFL in Quentin Nelson. So so he is very well protected. Also, what makes Jonathan Taylor so good between the tackles is Ryan Kelly and Quentin Nelson, because Quentin Nelson could move a dozen refrigerators with no problem. That dude is built completely different.
He's a big fella. All right, moving on. Chiefs versus the Washington football team. Damian Williams had a nice game, 2 touchdowns, 21 carries, 62 yards, only averaged 3, but getting in the end zone twice was really nice. Pat Mahomes spread the ball out very well for a change. He hit 8 different receivers.
And Travis Kelce had a good game.
Travis
didn't get in the end zone, but still had a good game.
Yeah, I mean, 8 catches, almost 100 yards, just short at 99. Yeah, not a bad game for Kelce. A nice bounce back for him. It was nice to see him start getting the ball a little bit.
On the flip side of that, for the football team's offense, Sir Taylor himself did not play great. He missed. He threw 24 for 39, but 11 of those 15 balls were to open targets that he missed. Kansas City's secondary is not a super threat to any good throwing quarterback, and he kind of got carved up by their defense.
So what was my call last week on defense to stream for fantasy?
What did you say? I don't remember the exact verbiage, but
the Chiefs defense. I streamed them last week and they got me 12 points.
That's right.
If you would have played the Rams defense like I did, they would have got you 17.
Well, I don't think the Rams defense is just floating around on the waiver wire.
Nah. Nobody's giving up on the Rams defense just yet.
No, they're ballers over there. So we all three took the Chiefs. Next game, NFC rivalry, Packers, Bears. It was a much closer game.
I still own you. That's all you got to say. I still own you. That is the biggest.
I own you.
Double
you my whole fucking life.
Yeah. The greatest double bird to a whole entire city that's happened in football this year.
Yeah.
Look, Aaron Rodgers, I think he's a douchebag most of the time, but I love the passion he has on the field. Like that dude, I would push through a mountain for that man if I was on the offensive side of the ball with him, because he just gets like, when he gets into his element, he is so hyped up, and I just believe he can do anything when he gets his mind right.
It's hard to not. I love Aaron Rodgers. I typically side more with the player than the organization. Like when it comes down to like contracts or anything, everybody wants to talk about, well, you should just play or do it for the team. It's like,
well, you can't say that in this circumstance, though. The Packers fucked up.
Yeah, I mean, I don't say it in almost any circumstance. Like when it came to the Dak Prescott thing, or any of these contract negotiations, I'm always going to side with the millionaire versus the billionaire. It's just how I'm wired. But I love the way he goes about it, and I enjoy watching Aaron Rodgers just basically say fuck you to the Green Bay Packers organization all the time, and they just take it. They're like, okay, yes, daddy. Like they do it, and then he goes out and he does this stuff. It's a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah, I mean, he definitely showed that he's still an elite quarterback, and has proven that every week since week 1.
Yeah. On the flip side of the ball, Khalil Herbert played very, very well for the Bears. Was really the only shining light for Chicago on Sunday. If Montgomery's healthy and you have Khalil Herbert there, that's a decent platoon, because they play the position very differently. Montgomery is more of the athletic running back, and Khalil Herbert is more of your 4 and 6 hole running back. So I'm interested to see how they can get both of them involved and figure out a way for Fields to not have to rely on that 15 plus yard pass more. I think that he needs to live and die by the flats for a while to get his confidence up as an NFL quarterback, because he's just getting pressured all the time and he's making rookie mistakes, that's kind of what you expect from him for right now.
Yeah, no. I picked up Khalil Herbert in a pinch in my work league, and worked out pretty well. He had a nice game.
Same. I lost by 0.03 points in that league. So really tough pill to swallow. Just been a shitty week so far.
Yeah, that's a tough one. Next game on the board, Todd, I don't think you or I got to say anything. We have the man that was there. Bengals Lions. Bengals rolled. Joe Burrow and the old Benjis look great. Tell us about it.
Yeah, it was awesome. Absolutely fantastic game experience there in general. Lions fans were great. They're just good people to enjoy a game with. Nobody took it too seriously. They let the Bengals fan have some fun because we were winning. So, and I didn't see any Bengals fans being rude to Lions fans or anything like that. So that was really great. That's what you want, is just a fun time for everybody involved. And it's a lot more fun when your team is just absolutely kicking ass. So, but I mean, The biggest thing for me was Chris Evans. Man, I was itching to see him play, and that kid is the real deal. And Bengals depth.
He got in the end zone for you, buddy.
He did get in the end zone. It was actually awesome. It was a really cool moment. Me and my dad are sitting right next to each other. And I'm looking up, and the Bengals. If you didn't see the play, basically what happened is a empty set, 4 wide. Bengals had trips on the right side, on the short side of the field, or on the long side of the field, and it was Higgins, Chase, and Boyd all tripped on one side, and then Chris Evans was solo on this side. And I told my dad straight up, I said, they ran this play in the preseason, first of all. And I said, they got trips right here. Evans is one-on-one. He's getting the ball touchdown. That's exactly what happened. It felt pretty cool for me to be able to call that. We're losing and having a good time. So, yeah, it was pretty sweet. I felt like Bobby that one game we were watching. It was the Jacksonville game where Bobby was just calling out every single play. So, but no, it was pretty sweet. And I'll say that everybody is going to talk about Jamar Chase. They're going to talk about Chris Evans. Of course, they're going to talk about Joe Burrow. But the one thing that we need to be talking about is this top 5 defense that the Bengals are showing out there right now, and that's what they are. This land of misfit toys that is the Cincinnati Bengals defense that has been put together by Duke Tobin, Zach Taylor, and Lou Anarumo over the last couple of years is proving to be a recipe for success. And basically all they're doing is going on just getting ballers, just people that can ball, people that are athletes that fly to the ball, that can have a high football IQ. Things that you need to be, need to have at least a couple of guys on defense. So the Bengals have quite a few of them, and it's showing. Another thing that we're seeing is Trey Hendrickson is the real fucking deal. He is. I'm sorry, he has 5.5 sacks already, and we're through 6 games. I don't know what else you want.
So I think that was a huge question mark for Bengals fans, right?
Yeah.
Are you going to get? He had, was it 15 or 16 sacks?
He had 13 sacks.
13. Yes. So are you going to get 13 sack Trey Hendrickson, or are you going to get the guy from the year prior who had like 5 for the whole season? I personally feel like having him and Sam Hubbard line up on opposite sides of the ball makes Hendrickson a much better defensive end, because Sam Hubbard is not a flashy defensive end. There's a lot of really, really flashy defensive ends right now. And they should. They're athletic. Chase Young is one of the most athletic guys on the field, no matter who you put out there.
Yeah.
But Sam Hubbard, what he does best, at least when I'm watching him, is that although he's not necessarily calling the shots on the field, he does a great job of directing traffic on the defensive side of the ball any way that he can. He several times over this season, he's pinched the interior lineman when it's like Reeder and I can't remember his last name right now. It doesn't matter. Thank you. He'll pinch them in, and Hubbard will just fly to the ball, right? So I think the football IQ that Hubbard possesses makes Hendrickson a better athletic defensive end. Also, Logan Wilson. We've talked about him a few times. I remember on draft day last year when they drafted him, I was talking to my dad. My dad's like, what a waste of a pick. And I said, you have no idea what this guy is. He is one of the best tacklers in the history of college football. I think he's like top 10 all time in college interceptions for linebackers in college. I said, this guy will be a special teams devil. And then when he is ready, he will be a ball hawk for the Bengals. And he is, that's absolutely what he's been. He is the heart and soul of their special teams. And
go ahead, sorry.
Yeah. So I just think that he's the heart and soul of the special teams, and he is so athletic, and he doesn't over-evaluate himself, right? And what I mean by that is he's not a guy that's putting his body out to try to make the big play. He's very cerebral as a young guy, and I think that we see a lot of guys just putting their body on the line to make the big top 10 play still. And Logan Wilson doesn't do that. He follows the ball well. He's great at spying on the quarterback, and to have that guy over the middle right now with the ball being thrown 8 to 12 yards consistently across the NFL it's a good time for him to be on the Bengals.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's one of the things that I even noticed just in his rookie year was he's just always around the ball. Whether it's a pass play, he's he can hang with those guys in the middle of the field in coverage, whether it's coming up and stopping the run, he's always there. He's always around the ball, and you're seeing it pay off this year as he's, I believe, second in the league only to Trayvon Diggs in terms of interception. And Trayvon Diggs literally has like 700 interceptions a game. So,
he has 7 interceptions through 6 weeks. It's insane.
It's insane. But another guy real quick, again, I know we're kind of harping on the Bengals real quick, but another guy that is showing up this season, another free agent acquisition, is Awuzie. Chidobe Awuzie, free agent signing from Dallas, our new corner. And, a lot of Bengals caught a lot of shit when they let William Jackson III walk. They let Geno Atkins walk. They obviously traded Carlos Dunlap last year. They let Carl Lawson walk. Caught a lot of shit for letting those big name players walk out the door. They're proven to be just fine. So I tip my hat to Duke Tobin, tip my hat to Lou Anarumo and Zach Taylor for this defense. Now, the offense needs to start playing 4 quarters of football, because as of right now, they're only playing 1 half, and that ain't going to cut it next week against Baltimore.
Nope. I agree with you. It's a good analysis.
Absolutely right. Next game on the board, we have the undefeated Arizona Cardinals versus the Browns. We all three got that wrong. Cardinals.
Holy shit.
So
that's all you can say, right?
Yeah, I mean,
Kyler
Murray hit six different targets. 5 of those 6 targets had 3 or more catches. Three guys had touchdowns, receiving touchdowns. We had, both running backs were 50 yards rushing, above 5 yards a carry for each of them. One of them, that being Chase Edmonds, 11.5 carry. So,
also Cardinals leading receiver again for 3 of the last 4 weeks was AJ Green.
AJ Green, 5 for 79, average of 16 yards and a touchdown.
It just shows you. And look, I think Corey and I have discussed this. I have no ill will towards Cincinnati or AJ Green for leaving. Yep. He didn't fit the mold for the offense.
Exactly.
But I think the thing that AJ Green is proving in Arizona is that he fits in well to any offense as long as you give him the ball, right?
Yeah.
I think Kyler Murray is still not quite as refined as he can be. I don't think he hasn't met his ceiling yet. I think we're just seeing the beginning of Kyler Murray being great. And AJ Green is a great guy to introduce greatness into the NFL because he's such a sure-handed guy and a sure-handed, and a guy that he's going to run good routes. AJ Green is historically known for being a good route runner and figuring out a way to get the 10 inches of separation. So it doesn't hurt.
We just talked about his catch radius before too. Well, not just his catch. We've talked about catch radius before on this show a lot. And AJ Green is just genetically engineered to be a wide receiver. He's just huge, and he has that catch radius. So as a young quarterback, having somebody that like you said, sure-handed, but also giving him so many opportunities to put the ball just generally in his vicinity. As long as it's the right side, depending on where the defender is, AJ Green's more often not going to come down with that ball.
So let me get your guys' opinions on this before we kind of move forward. Do you feel like that there are more dropped passes this year than there have been in years past?
Yes.
I couldn't say that I've noticed that.
Okay. 100%. So in my opinion, just from watching, let's call it 25 games at any given time, 30 games at any given time during this season, I have noticed a lot of like the last second you look to the right but you want to catch the ball kind of drop and really crucial situations. And Carolina is a bad reference because they had 9 drop passes. That was just a bad day. But I've watched several younger wide receivers, and some of that comes with time. And I'm kind of excluding Jamar Chase because that's gone away during the regular season. I'm not talking preseason. I'm talking right now. But I've just seen a lot of well thrown balls from seasoned quarterbacks be missed, and I don't know if that is a discipline thing or if that is just everybody hits the hardest they've ever hit. It's scary to be hit by somebody in the open field kind of thing. I don't know. I just wanted to see what you guys thought. That's a no stat observation on my end. I don't have any data to back anything up. That's just what I've seen with my eyes.
I just went and found some. So what do you think? What do you think? Like, what would be through 6 weeks? What would you say would lead the league in passes dropped right now?
Is this per team?
This is individual.
Individual. Let's see. 6 weeks are done. I would say like 11.
I was gonna say like 15.
Okay, so actually, the league leader in passes dropped right now is Robbie Anderson, and he has 6. There are a couple guys tied for second. Keenan Allen and DJ Moore have 5. Najee Harris is tied for third with Justin Jefferson at 4. And then, it just kind of trickles down from there. So I think my perception of how I'm interpreting that data versus what you guys, have thought you've seen is that it's a lot harder to get a statistical drop than what we consider a drop pass to be, is how I'm interpreting that. Like, we might be like, they dropped that. And then the way they're scoring it is like, no, that's not technically a drop because X, Y, and Z.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right. And maybe that's a good use of stats to prove a point. I think you're right. And maybe that's something I haven't even thought about, is my perception of it is a drop ball because it hit somebody in the hands.
Right.
But the NFL doesn't always constitute that as a drop ball.
And then just one thing before we move on, and I know, we spend a little bit of time on this game too, but it's important because Browns are banged up, man. We talked
They're in trouble.
We talked about it before the season started, that this is the year for Cleveland. This is Cleveland's year to win the division. They have, the Bengals are still, rebuilding. The Ravens, we're not really sure what they are. 6 weeks in, we think we know, but we might be having a different discussion in another 6 weeks. And then the Steelers are, they want to stay on a down. Look out, because they're 500. So, and then so this is the year that the Browns need to do it. And then they're just getting like the curse of San Francisco and like the Niners had last year. Baker has a fully torn labrum, not a partially torn. It is not. We are learning that is a fully torn labrum on his shoulder, non-throwing shoulder, which I've had that. I don't know if you guys have ever experienced a torn labrum. It's not fun. And Creme Hunt, I believe Creme Hunt is going to be out next week.
Yep.
Yeah, he's on the IR. They placed him on the IR.
They did move him to the IR.
Yeah.
Okay. So
he has a pretty substantial calf injury.
So earlier I had heard he's just going to be ruled out this Thursday night when they play the Broncos. Now you're confirming that he is on the IR, so he will miss a minimum of 3 football games, which one of those includes the Bengals, if I'm not mistaken. So
good for you.
I would say there has been some injuries that we've been blessed to have on the other side of the ball, that we're not necessarily, getting the best of everybody. Ronnie, the left tackle for the Ravens, will be out next week, for instance.
Yeah. Just to confirm on that, looks like Stefanski was quoted today that Kareem Hunt is actually going to miss several weeks.
Yeah.
That's what he was quoted saying. So
yeah.
That's the best duo of running backs in football, and Dearness Johnson and I can't remember the other guy's name. They don't fill Kareem Hunt's role, right? Nick Chubb is also banged up.
Yeah,
that's bad. Your Cleveland success is dependent upon those guys splitting 35 touches, running the ball.
Yeah, and this brings up to the question then, okay, so without them, that's your offensive production, right? You're the number 1 running team in the league. You have been for the last year and a half. What do you do with Baker? Do you shut him down? Get that shoulder?
I think you almost have to, right? I think the business side of my brain says protect your assets, get him healthy. Tell the city of Cleveland, like, hey, we're going to give it to Case Keenum. That's not what you guys want to hear, but do you want to win next year, right? Because I mean, I've never torn my labrum. I understand the injury because I've injured my shoulder enough times to understand what a torn labrum means in terms of being able to produce as an athlete, because you're basically shut down from any movement for 2 to 4 weeks after a procedure. And then you're talking weeks to months of physical therapy. And then now you're building your strength again. Then you're doing the conditioning side, right? So Mayfield probably doesn't get the clear bill of health until later on in training camp next year to be ready to rumble, right? Because we're almost in November.
If he had the surgery today, you would probably look at a full go Baker in like draft time, like by the time the draft goes, like he would probably be full go.
So April,
and we're losing Bobby, but the yeah, I mean, like I talked to my buddy in Cleveland today and I asked him about it and he's like, dude, it's crazy. Like on the talk radio, people are calling in saying we need to trade for, we need to sign Cam Newton. Like, we need to, that's absolutely wild when you think about where we were at the beginning of the year to now. It's crazy how fast it can change.
Cam Newton is fully vaccinated. So
he is.
Maybe. I don't know. That doesn't feel like the answer to me, though.
Is it better than Case Keenum? Is it better? Even with Cam Newton, without Creme Hunt.
I think that if you're talking
offensive linemen, because they're missing their left and right tackle.
Right. Yeah, I mean, if we're talking pure offensive production, yes. But the publicity that Cam Newton brings with him anywhere he goes is not great. And I don't think Stefanski wants that. He doesn't want that kind of spotlight. He's a kind of in the trenches, behind the scenes kind of guy. He's not a get me in front of the camera kind of guy.
Fair enough. Moving on. Next game on the board was the Cowboys Patriots. We all three went with the Cowboys. Start of the game, CeeDee Lamb, 9 catches, 149 yards, 2 touchdowns.
Cowboys are good.
Yeah. They're good.
They're real good.
They're legit.
They are. I mean, coming into the season, with, the injury that Dak had last year, I don't think anybody expected the Cowboys to be where they're at right now. I didn't. I don't know about you guys. I didn't expect them to come out this hot and stay this consistent.
I'm going 11-6. So kind of on this trajectory.
Yeah, I think I was you're always cautiously optimistic when somebody has a compound fracture of a moving part of your body. So, look, I think when we were watching the Thursday night game together, fellas, we saw Dak Prescott get into action and get comfortable, and now he's really comfortable. And Dak's earning his paycheck. We've talked about that a lot on Rally Towel Sports. Is somebody earning their paycheck? Dak Prescott is earning his paycheck for sure.
Yeah.
And Jerry Jones should be very thankful that they gave him that extension.
Yeah, I mean, that was, when he got hurt last year, that was the biggest thing. Was, man, that was a contract year for him. Was he going to get paid? That was a huge question mark. And I think ultimately, the Cowboys, front office having that type of confidence in Dak, even, post injury to come back out and slay, I think that's had a lot to do on his psyche, and a reason why he's playing so well. It's because he's got a lot of people in his corner in the front office, and I think that is, I mean, for me as a player, that would give me a ton of confidence on the field to know that everybody's like supporting me, rooting for me, and wanting me to do well. So, and paying.
I always appreciate you always have a nice psychoanalysis of an athlete. I appreciate that. You look at it from a different perspective than I do. I'm just thinking about it as dollars and cents, right? I'm thinking about it as business. And you're always from the player side, so that's a good analysis of him.
Yeah. All right, well, we all three got that game right. The next game was the last game that we were split on. Raiders-Broncos. Corey had an absolutely astute observation.
I'd be up one game. I'd be up one game if I'd have just played the odds.
Crazy. No, I mean, it was a good game. The score doesn't really, me personally, reflect the how well that game played. The Raiders won by 10, but it was a pretty close game. Up until the end. It was a fun game to watch. I don't know if you guys had an opportunity.
Did not
get to watch it.
Yeah, I was burning it down after the game. Didn't catch that one.
What a beautiful phrase.
Yeah,
I was burning it down.
Yeah, I was in bed by 8:30 that evening.
That's fair,
boy. You did it right.
Yeah, I was still miserable the next day, but nonetheless, I didn't see it. But as I was following along, I was like, oh yes. I got that one right.
Hey, you can't drink all day if you don't start in the morning, big guy. All right, next game, the Sunday night game. I was tired and fell asleep, so I actually caught the. I was exhausted Sunday.
Wow.
But what a great game it was, and the officiating at the end of that game was absolutely horrendous. Horrendous.
What happened? Yeah.
So, from everything that I read and the replay that I saw, I don't know if you guys saw the play where his arm was moving forward, and then he dropped the ball, and they called it a fumble. And Ben was quoted, he went to Josh Dobbs, who I guess is was a physics major in college and graduated with a degree. They basically said his arm was moving forward, but the ball was moving backwards. But you could clearly see that it was in his hand. So it was absolutely terrible call. It almost cost them the game. They came back and won. Clutch field goal by Boswell.
I hate that rule, though. By the way, I hate the.
Oh rule. God, yeah,
I think it's the dumbest rule because he wasn't throwing it. Like he wasn't. He was trying to tuck the ball back in.
Well, we have Tom Brady to thank for that one.
I know, yeah. Like literally, that's the only reason that rule exists is because Roger and Bob Kraft are, buddies. So
hashtag Bob Kraft's Robin Tug.
I mean, take Ben out of it. Let's say Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers did that, right? Like, what do you honestly think? Do you think that that's an incomplete pass?
No. Yes, I do. Sorry.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely.
Even though he's like literally like say we're gonna use a prop. This is the ball, right? It might be a little bit harder to see on the camera, but he's coming
to the technicality of the rule. If his arm is moving forward and the ball hits the ground,
take the rule away. No. I'm stepping outside the rules.
Yeah, that's fine. If they take the rule away, it's a fumble, 100%.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Do you really think he was throwing the ball? Because that's what they rule it, right? An incomplete pass, right?
Right.
That's what they rule it. An incomplete pass. Therefore, like that says that he was throwing the ball. That's how you get an incomplete pass is by throwing the ball. He wasn't throwing the ball. And that's not just because it's Ben. That's if it's Aaron Rodgers. I hate the rule in general. I can't stand the tuck rule. It's a fumble. It should be. I'll write a strongly worded email.
Fair enough. No, Steelers won in the close one. Najee Harris continues to look great. He had 24 carries for 81 yards. Didn't get the end zone, but he just seems to be the heart and soul of that offense, man. What a great draft pick by the Steelers and Najee Harris. I mean, that kid is dude's a tank.
I was pissed when they got him. I was like, God damn it. I had a 3-year break from Le'Veon, and now I get fucking Najee Harris. Are you kidding me?
Every fan of a team in the AFC North gave the universal eye roll when they announced Najee Harris. Yeah, because you just know. I mean, watching him in Alabama, it was disgusting the way that dude moved on the field. It was like he was playing varsity football and he's playing middle schoolers. The way that he played the running back position in Alabama, and they've done a great job of always producing elite NFL running backs. But Najee Harris, yeah, oh my God, Najee Harris is just a guy that I don't want to speak too soon of him, but I think that we will see him in a top 5 statistic as a running back for the next several years. And I think that Pittsburgh needs to find him a quarterback that can provide some over-the-air relief, right? So If Roethlisberger decides to throw in the towel, hang up the cleats, however you want to call it, I'm not necessarily sure that Dwayne Haskins is the guy that's going to provide Najee Harris relief. But also, there's no quarterback in this draft class that provides that relief. So they have to go get somebody, or Ben politely plays one more year, and then maybe CJ Stroud is ready to, I don't know, not an Ohio State quarterback. Anybody but Ohio State quarterback. But somebody else will be ready to take over the helm. Or Aaron Rodgers is just throwing middle fingers up all over the world.
Yep, that's what that was literally going to be my next comment. Was Aaron Rodgers?
That's Bobby's wet dream, though. I don't want to get
Russell
him. I don't
Wilson.
want to. Yeah. Look, it's not out of the realm of possibility to me now that Russell Wilson ends up in Pittsburgh. If I'm him, so I don't want to play for Pete Carroll anymore.
I didn't see the game, but I did see a clip of Russell Wilson. This is the same, obviously against Steelers Seahawks, right? Yeah. And he's, he has an earbud in listening to the calls being made in the headphones. And it was I don't know, it was like 3rd and 4, and they call a run or something like that. And Russ is on the sideline, he's just like, get me the fuck out of here. They're not trying to win. Yeah. So
the Seahawks are on the downturn of their success for sure. So
yeah, well, Pete Carroll's a dirty, rotten cheater anyway, so whatever.
Yeah, nobody likes him anyway.
Old fuck.
Last game of the week, last night, I actually watched this entire game. What a football game. Bills, Titans. We all had the Bills, and it could have went to the Bills had Josh Allen not slipped.
I still think they're the better team.
For sure.
If I had to take them again, if I had to bet on that game 10 times, I'm taking the Bills.
So
absolutely.
Well, I guess the first thing I want to discuss with this game last night, we'll start at the very end and work our way backwards. Do you think it was the right call to go for it on 4th down, or do you kick the field goal and go to overtime and take your chances?
Absolutely the right call.
I agree.
Absolutely the right call.
Josh Allen, that was just a fluke that he slipped on that play. He doesn't slip. He's in the end zone. Granted, the defense made a great play and shot the gap, but also we do have to go on the other side of that ball and talk about Derrick Henry for a minute. That dude seems to just throw somebody out of his way every time he plays the Bills in prime time. Like he just that dude is a man amongst boys.
I threw up a video on the old Rally Towel Sports Twitter. On his 76-yard touchdown run, his top rate of speed was 21.8 miles per hour.
Insane.
He was running faster than you can drive through a residential zone. Just think about that. Like, the dude was moving faster than we operate a moving vehicle sometimes.
Should have gave him a speeding ticket.
And he weighs 235 pounds.
Right. And it doesn't look like it doesn't look like he's working hard, though. You know what I mean? Like, It doesn't look like that he has to try super hard to do what he does on the field. It's just like LeBron playing basketball.
He throws grown-ass men around like they're rag dolls.
I showed a picture to Mary. I said, "What position does this guy play?" And I put up a picture of Derrick Henry in front of her, and she said, "He has to be a defensive end." And I said, "That's a fair assessment. He's actually a running back." And she said, "He's bigger than everybody else." I said, That's also right. Yeah.
Yeah, and he's faster than everyone else too, for the most part.
I can't remember who got quoted, but they were like, Derrick Henry is the guy we all created in Madden when we were kids. And it was another NFL player. I can't remember who it was, but it's so true. I mean, the guy,
absolutely true.
He's just absolutely so much fun to watch. I mean, at any moment he can just
took the words right out of my mouth. That's exactly what I was just going to say.
He can break one off for 75 yards and not break a sweat,
It seems like when the lights are on, Derrick Henry comes to play. You know what I mean?
He shows up, dude.
He always shows up. Games. It's just like Titans Jags, which we seemingly fucking get every year. Like he just on Thursday Night Football or something, and Derrick Henry just goes off.
200.
Yeah, exactly. Like we saw last night, and we did it 3 years ago against who was the Patrick? Was it Patrick Peterson or something? Who was the guy that he? Couldn't remember who the stiff arm was.
Yes, it was Patrick Peterson.
Yeah,
just threw him out of his way.
It was him like a fucking perennial.
And Patrick Peterson is not a small man. He's
he's not.
large. He's larger than the average defensive back at like 6'2", 230. And Derrick Henry basically moved him like a paperweight. If for those of you who are watching, and if you guys haven't watched, just get on YouTube and watch Derrick Henry work out and watch a guy move weight that power lifters power lifters squat what he squats. I mean, Saquon Barkley is still has the biggest and strongest legs and as a running back, but the compound movements that Derrick Henry does with such heavy weight makes you realize that he is of a completely different breed of an athlete. It's incredible to watch him.
The NFL is here, and Derrick Henry is
up
here.
I just don't know. Unfortunately, there's not an answer for a one-on-one matchup with Derrick Henry. Because if you watch when he runs the ball, it usually takes a couple of people to bring him down pretty consistently, unless you're able to knock a shoe off or something. I don't know. But he's not a guy that is – you meet him one-on-one in the open field. Do you just act like you're going for him and you just intentionally miss? Like, I don't want to be the guy that ends up on the highlight reel of getting my face stuffed into some nice grassy turf.
You know what's really interesting is that it wasn't immediate for Derrick Henry. It really wasn't until like his third season when he really came onto the scene. I pulled up his numbers right here. First season, he's been with Tennessee the entire time. First season, he only started 2 games. He played in 15 of those games, 490 yards, 5 touchdowns.
Didn't they had Murray, the running back from the Eagles, was on the Titans, right?
Yeah, could have been the case.
I think so, but I think there was something there was somebody that tweeted like they played Latavius Murray. They played Latavius Murray over Derrick Henry in his rookie year.
So in the second season, it started to get a little bit better. Actually, he only started two out of the 16 games, but he had 744 yards and 5 touchdowns. So still 5 touchdowns. Then finally, his third season, he started 12 of 16 games and ran for over 1,000 yards, 1,059 with 12 touchdowns. And from there, it's just been crazy. 1,540, 2,027. This year, he already has 783 rushing yards. This guy is literally in his not even halfway through his 6th season, and he has 6,600 rushing yards in his career already. So
he almost has 800 yards through 6 weeks.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah, he's had every week except for one. He's had over 100 yards, right? Or has he had 100 yards every week?
I think he has, except for the first week, I think.
Holy Christ.
And he has 10 touchdowns.
Yeah.
I think being a running back in the NFL, I mean, we've talked, your window of greatness is very small anyway, because you're just getting beat up all the time. AP is a big outlier to the duration of a running back's career. But it also takes some time in the NFL for a running back to be an immediate impact guy, because you're drafting the running back and then you're building the weapons around him. Right. And that's kind of how, because I believe Taylor Lewin was drafted the year after Derrick Henry was drafted. Right.
Yeah.
Because he was, yeah. So you got to think, so you drafted the running back and then you drafted the tackle.
Scary injury for him last night, by the way, getting taken off on the cart.
I know. I hope he comes back.
That he is moving everything just fine, and he should be back sooner than later.
Because they originally thought torn ACL was what I read for Lewin.
I think it was a neck injury or a back injury.
Maybe I'm thinking of somebody else tore an offensive.
Yeah, I mean they put him on the
stretcher.
On the stretcher.
Immobilizer, yeah.
Yeah, fully immobilized him. So prayers up for him. Hope he's all right.
Oh, my bad.
Quick question.
It was Ronnie Staley.
Okay. Where do you think Derrick Henry currently ranks all-time rushing?
As far where is he at on the rushing leaderboard?
Yeah, where do you think
what number?
Yeah.
11.
No, he's not that
No,
high.
I'd probably say like
I don't know.
her
That's
mid-
just the number I said earlier.
Frame
I'd
of
probably-
reference. Jim Brown is at 11 with 12,320.
I'd probably say high 20s, low 30s.
26.
Okay. So I thought you were going to be closer. 26. He's not far off 26. Like he could get there within like the next 3 years at this pace. But 26 is Thomas Jones with 10,591 yards.
So he's probably like 45,
He's set. Derrick Henry is 74th.
74.
But
All time,
that said,
though. Wow.
Let's say Derrick Henry gets another 1,000 yards to finish the season. He finished the season with 1,700 yards, which is about what he's averaging. Let's say he gets another 1,700 yards, so that would put him right around 8,300 yards. By the end of this season, Derrick Henry could be 42nd all time in rushing yards. Let's say he gets another 1,000 the year after that. Derrick Henry would be 33rd all time ahead of Matt Forte after 8 seasons in the NFL.
Crazy. Hey, Matt Forte is that high on that list?
Yeah. So do you guys know who the top 10 are all time?
Adrian Peterson, Emmitt Smith.
Emmitt Smith is number 1.
Yeah. I wasn't going in any particular order.
Okay. So Adrian Peterson is 5.
Shit, Jim Brown is 11. I would have thought
Brown is 11.
He's in the top. Ooh.
Is Eddie George top 10?
Okay.
Eddie George is not top 10.
He didn't have a long enough career
No,
to
he
be top
didn't.
10.
Eric Dickerson.
Eric Dickerson is 9.
Okay.
I feel like I'm missing a big name.
LaDainian Tomlinson.
LT is 7. So you got Emmitt Smith at 1. I can't believe you haven't gotten 2. Then or 4. You got 5 at Adrian Peterson, 7 LaDainian Tomlinson, Eric Dickerson at 9. Anybody in the chat know?
Oh, let's see.
I feel like if I give you 2, you're gonna be really upset.
I don't think Terrell Davis had a long enough career.
No, he's not. There's no way. There's no way he's on that list.
Now Chris Johnson's not there. I don't think he played long enough either.
No. Think 80s, 70s, and 80s.
70s and 80s. Oh, Walter Payton.
Yeah, Walter Payton, number 2. Number 3 is technically still an active player.
Oh, Frank Gore.
There he is. Number 4.
No way.
Yeah, Frank Gore
Really?
3rd all time. Yes. Frank Gore.
Dude, he's played for like 20 years.
I guess he has withstood the test of time.
15 years, yeah, but Frank Gore is actually only 726 yards away from tying Walter Payton for second all time.
He's put up some big stats since he's been at the U.
Going in the Hall of Fame, there's no doubt about that.
Well, if he's not, then there's something seriously wrong. If you're going to be number 3rd in rushing, maybe number 2. Something magical.
Number 4 is the pride of the Silver Dome, arguably the greatest running back of all time.
Barry Sanders.
Barry Sanders is number 4. Number 5, AP. Number 6 is one that I don't know if you guys are going to get. Number 6. Number 8, Bobby. You better know that one.
Oh, Jerome
the Bus Bettis at 8. 9 at Eric Dickerson. You're not going to get 10, so I'll give you that one. That's Tony Dorsett. Number 6 is one that I'm really interested if you get this one. This individual, I want to get this first team right because I believe. Okay, yeah. This individual was drafted by the New England Patriots, and then took a trip south to the Big Apple for the rest of his career. The New York Jets.
Curtis Martin.
Yes, you got it. I'm very surprised.
No shit. He's in the top 10?
Oh, yeah.
Dude, I mean, if you played NFL 2K or Madden, you always ran with Curtis Martin. That dude was unstoppable.
So Curtis Martin with 14,101 yards.
Wow. What? I didn't realize he had that good of a career.
He also played for for 10 years. So
Wow,
cool.
good for him. That's a lot. Damn, that's good stats for him. I didn't know that he had played that long either.
It's funny when you look at running backs, because there's a lot of these guys that just like tacked on yards throughout their career, and you never even looked at it. Like Corey Dillon is 20th all time. Corey Dillon, 20th all time.
Yeah, I figured he was top 25. I mean, he had a pretty solid career. I mean, he extended it when he went to New England too. So, I mean, that dude. I was at the game when he broke the rushing record when they were playing the Broncos.
That was awesome.
What a great game. Yeah, he just ran all. It was like 278 yards rushing or something. It was absolutely stupid.
Yeah.
Just yeah.
Tony Dorsett, huh? He's
Tony.
number 10.
Yeah.
Crazy.
It's a fun little trivia there to end the evening as we
appreciate that. That was fun.
Now that you're doing this, now I gotta study more football stats because I can't embarrass myself like this on this podcast anymore. I'm ashamed of I'm a fucking stats guy and I just got railed.
I'm surprised I spit those out before you did, Todd.
My mind is blown. I'm not gonna sleep tonight now. So thanks a lot for that. I appreciate it. I'm not. My brain's fucking fried. I've slept 9 hours in the last 3 days. So we're ready to rumble now. I'm gonna get back on it. We should make this a part of a thing. Give me like a top 10 list, and I'll start working on it.
Deal. Sounds good.
I live and die by the stats.
You do. We can vouch for that.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we appreciate you all hanging out with us tonight as we went through our Week 6 picks. We will be back Thursday night. We will be more rested, less hungover, and have more energy for you as we go into Week 7 as the Cleveland Browns take on the Denver Broncos on Thursday Night Football. Looking forward to it. As always, Thursday, we will be doing our Week 7 picks, going through those, talking about the upcoming matchups as we watch the game, and we hope to see you all there. Anything else you guys want to give the people before we sign off for the night?
No, I'm good on my end, man. Appreciate everybody coming out tonight. Sorry it was a little behind schedule. Just been a tough start to the week for all of us, and we still wanted to get something out there for you. So appreciate you guys coming by. We'll be back. We'll be back on Thursday at 8:00. Regular scheduled programming. We will see you guys then.
Love you guys.
Peace.
See you Thursday.